Good morning, students. Today we continue the chapter part 3 tissue on page 72 and 73. The previous class we discussed about which type of permanent tissue, that is simple permanent tissue. Today we are going to learn complex tissues. Simple permanent tissue, there are three types of permanent tissues, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is made of dead cell which provide mechanical strength to the plant, and that parenchyma tissues having space between them which helps to store food and minerals, and collenchyma which provides mechanical strength and give flexibility to the plants. Before moving on to complex permanent tissue, let us have a small concept, that is epidermis. What is epidermis? Our body is covered with skin. This is called epidermis of our body, whereas in plants also thin layer is covered all over the body of the plant. That layer is called, covering layer is called epidermis of the plants. It is made up of single layer generally. In some plants, basically dry plants, that means plants live in dry habitat, they have thicker coating, that means thicker epidermis. What is the function of this covering? It protect the whole body. It protect the plant from against water loss. Such epidermis of the cell secrete waxy like substance which helps to act as water resistive layer, that means don't allow water to escape from the plant. And also it provides the plants from any mechanical injury and from invasion of any parasitic fungus. It protects from any fungus entering, it don't allow any fungus to enter, and also it provide mechanical strength, which senses that in small wind or sun, heat of the sun, it does not get damaged because of this protective layer. Know that we breathe through our nostrils of our nose. The same way plants breathe, plants exchange gases through the stomata holes, that is hole-like structure which is present on this epidermis of the cell. In this epidermal cells, many holes are present which are called stomata, through which water exchange and gaseous exchanges take place. Stomata is covered by two kidney-shaped cells called guard cells. You know that our excess water in our body is eliminated through kidney. The same way, plants' excess water is eliminated through this stomata, which is hole of the leaves. This process of transferring water or eliminating water from the leaf is called transpiration. Epidermal cell of the root absorb water from the soil. We know that many root hairs are present on the surface of the root. What is the function? Which provide large surface area for absorption of water. In some plants like desert plant have thick waxy coating, the material called cutin. Cutin is a chemical substance which is covered in this epidermis layer of the desert plant. What is its function? It provides waterproof quality. That means it reduces the water loss. Are you feeling the stem of younger plant is same as the stem of grown-up plant? No. The stem of young plant is covered with thin layer of epidermis cell, whereas grown-up plant, you can see the chemical substance coating over the surface of the plant, that we say bark or cork of the plant. Now tell me, why do the stems of the grown-up plants are harder or bark surface? Because when the plants grow with the time, the meristematic tissue cambium, which is present between xylem and phloem vascular tissues, this cambium shows secondary growth. So with the time, when plants grow with the time, that means when plants grow older, this cambium which is present in between the vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem, they shows the secondary growth and form the thick outer coating, that means bark. So this is made of one chemical substance called suberin. suberin, which makes some very protective layer, hard layer, through this layer that water does not enter or any fungus or any insects cannot enter inside the plant. This shows that this bark of the plant gives mechanical and protective covering, protective support to the plant. But in desert plant, thick waxy coating is made of cutin. That is another chemical substance which looks shiny appearance over the surface of desert plant like cactus. Now let's come to the topic complex permanent tissue. Why is this tissue called as complex permanent tissue? Because this tissue is made of more than one type of cells. These different group of cells join together and perform a common function. That is what it is called complex permanent tissue. There are two complex permanent tissues. There are xylem and phloem. The other name is vascular tissue or conductive tissues. The element of xylem and phloem are organized in groups, so these are called vascular bundles. So what is vascular bundles? It is a mixture of elements of xylem and phloem. Xylem elements are tracheids, trachea, other name of trachea is vessel, xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma. Xylem fiber is called as xylem sclerenchyma. These xylem tissues helps to conduct water upwards. Tell me the function of xylem. It helps in the upward conduction of water and inorganic solutes, that is salt particles which are present in the water. These xylem cells' common features are these cells are having thick walls and many of the cells are dead cell. The xylem element tracheids and vessels are tubular-like structure. They allow to transport water and minerals in vertical direction from downward to upwards. The element parenchyma stores food and helps in sideway conduction of water. You know what is the function of sclerenchyma? Here also xylem sclerenchyma gives support to the plant because of presence of highly thickened wall. In the same manner, phloem tissues also having 4 different elements: sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, phloem fiber or phloem sclerenchyma. Unlike xylem cells, these phloem cells conduct food materials in both directions. Unlike xylem, phloem cells are living cells. But in sieve tube has no nucleus, although it is living cells. Sieve tubes are tubular cells with perforated walls. What is the meaning of perforation? Perforated wall means the wall which are having more minute holes on its surface through which materials can be exchanged. But one thing you have to remember, in the xylem tissues, all the elements, that is xylem tracheids, trachea, xylem fibers, these all cells are dead cell. Only xylem parenchyma is a living cell. Whereas in phloem, all the cells are living cell except phloem fiber or phloem sclerenchyma. These cells are dead cell. Remaining all are living cell in phloem tissues.